So, following on that, one thing that I had heard that I thought was kind of interesting at a almost a biological level was a description of boot camp, which was that boot camp was a recapitulation of human development for adults that needed to be retrained as if they had always been meant to be soldiers. So that the idea being that you have a civilian set of instructions in your brain, and you have to more or less blow it away to accept all of these differences, that there really is a chain of command and it's not flexible in the way that your regular life might be flexible, or that you think that you can't do something that is within your physical capacity to do it, but requires a lot of effort for you to get to that level. And that in essence, what boot camp was it was a second childhood that was imposed to make you safe to be a soldier, to be in harm's way. Whereas if you took your regular self onto a battlefield, your instincts would be completely counter to what would be safe for not only you, but for others who are attached to you. Do you buy that boot camp is effectively another version of childhood that is overlaid over the previous one?
I don't know if I'd call it another version of childhood, but I can tell you what, the military boot camps do an incredible job of taking normal human beings from every walk of life and turning them into someone that is, in many cases, now the military is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but if you take a kid like me, we'll use me as an example. You take a kid like me that was a marginal student, a marginal athlete. I was very rebellious. I was getting in trouble a lot. And you put me into boot camp and say, okay, you have a blank slate. None of your past matters. We don't care where you're from. We don't care what your parents did. We don't care about any of that. We don't care about your history, your past at all. What we care about, what you're going to do now. And if you do these things, you're going to move in the direction you want to move into. And here's what you're going to do. You know what you do in boot camp? You fold your underwear a certain way. You walk a certain way. You eat a certain way. And that's what you do. And if you do what they tell you to do, you can move forward and you can advance and things work out well. Now, what the thing that you got to remember is boot camp is a minuscule fraction of what your career in the military is.
Right.
So for instance, obedience to orders, right? That's something that you get drilled to do in boot camp. In fact, the purpose of military drill, you see the guys marching around with rifles on their arms and they're all coordinated doing synchronized movements.
Right.
That's called close order drill. And they used to do it because when you were in battle in ranks in the Revolutionary War period, of course, we didn't fight this way in America. That's why we won. But the British military, close order drill. Hey, you're going to draw your weapon at the same time. You're going to load your weapon at the same time. You're going to fire your weapon at the same time. And you're going to follow these orders when they come out directly. That's what it was originally for.
Right.
But we still do close order drill in boot camp. And the reason that they do it is so that you learn immediate obedience to orders. That's why you do it. Now, what you find out after boot camp, and what I tell people all the time, is the last thing I want as a commander is people that are just going to obey my orders without questioning them. I want to be surrounded with people that question what I'm saying, that give me pushback when something doesn't make sense. And the last thing I want is somebody that's just going to blindly obey my orders. So boot camp is like childhood, I guess, but it's really only like infancy. It really just gets you potty trained. And then once you get into the military, that's where you actually learn to maneuver, how to lead, how to interact with other people. You learn how to flex up and down the chain of command. Like you talked about the inflexibility of the chain of command. That's actually, the further you get in the military, the more flexibility you see in the chain of command.